WWE's performance training program, NXT, has made me fall in love with wrestling all over again. And Finn Balor, after beating Adrian Neville last night, had me jumping off my couch. I'm 38 years old, okay? I'll be 39 this year.
That's old.
But when Finn Balor beat Adrian Neville at the NXT quarterly special Wednesday night, I leapt off my couch and proceeded to crawl around on the floor imitating him, including getting all up in my wife's grill about
it. You nerd.
Hello, and welcome to Radulich Broadcasting's presentation of the Metal Hammer of Doom. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm exhausted, Mr. Mark Radulich. And that voice you hear, that man who can't wait for his introduction, that, of course, is the original author of the Hammer of Doom news report from 401manias.com's Music Zone, Mr. Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
See, I missed the end of that main event because I got called back home and yelled at and threatened to get kicked out and put a GPS on my car. I don't know. Family. Love them. Anyways, NXT Rival was awesome. It had one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time. Had Finn Balor and Adrian Neville ripping things to shreds. It had Bull Dempsey doing one of the best botches ever. Where they did the cactus clothesline and he didn't go over, so he's like, shit, I'm just going to throw myself over. Bull Dempsey. He's so fat and generic.
So I have a question. Why is your mom still treating you like you're 12?
I really don't know. So it's kind of annoying.
You when do you graduate?
Next year.
Next
spring.
Like, so not this coming May, but May 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, freedom's just around the corner, Mr. Robert Cooper. Freedom's just around the corner. But you did get. Not really. So you did recently get off the ranch. You got a night out out of your slave quarters. Go ahead. Why don't you talk about the Napalm Death concert?
Funny thing, I was like, hey, I'm like, is it okay if I go to this metal show in Winston tonight? And my mom's like, oh, where's it at? I'm like, Ziggy. She goes, that place has a bad reputation. And I'm thinking, I think I've heard of like one or two like stabbings maybe, but that was like over like a few, span of a few years. It's a club. Things are going to happen. So I'm like, can I go? And she's like, well, I don't. She's like, I don't think I'm comfortable with you going by yourself. What about Nick? I'm like, well, Nick said no. So eventually she's like, I'll just pay for Nick. But she's convinced that I'm going to die there. So I'm like, they're my people. She's like, they're not your people. Your family's your people. They just have the same interests as you. I'm like, no, they're my people, really. And you know what happened that entire concert? Buddy Nick stood pretty much around the same spot and headbanged the whole time. Like, I can't get either of my parents to understand that while she thinks that it's like a fucking, like festival of booze and cocaine or something, it's really like 80% of people that are standing in one spot and headbanging, and like 20% of them in a circle, like kicking things and pushing each other, and a few assholes. But that's not bad.
You know what I find ironic about your situation? When I was a teenager, 14, 15 years old, I started going, when I started high school, I had friends, when I was in the 9th grade, I had friends that were in the 10th grade, and those friends were all metalheads, and they would include me in their trips into Manhattan. We lived on Long Island. They would include me into their trips to Manhattan to go see concerts. And my mother was like, listen, as long as you're getting good grades in school and you come home right after and you get up the next morning to go to school, I would much prefer to see you go to concerts in the city than like hanging around the neighborhood getting into God only knows what trouble. Like, my mother encouraged me to do this kind of stuff, and I find it ironic that I hear your situation, and now, mind you, you're also, like, in your 20s, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 23 and I'm kind of a big guy, so like nobody really fucks with me.
Yeah, you're like this big burly bearded mother. You're like Bull Dempsey over there.
Doom, 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 bull.
Bull.
Good. Oh. Yes.
And your mother is like, turning into Adam Sandler. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, like neither her or my stepdad get metal. Like they think it's, well, I mean, yeah, it is kind of violent and a little debaucherous at times, but really, like half the people are a bunch of fuck.
Do you need my mother to call your mother?
It wouldn't do it.
Do you want my mother? Just like talk to her like, listen, I let my son, 25 years ago go to metal shows. It's really okay. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think she just wanted me to she didn't want me to be there alone. She's like, you're gonna say something. I'm like, I'm pretty quiet at metal shows. I'm like, I talk to some people. Most of the time I pay attention to the music. And speaking of the music, we'll go ahead and get into that since I know you're tired and the album we're reviewing is pretty damn cool. So
yes.
We missed the first band. I don't even remember their name. But there was actually a decent amount of merch. We came in during Ringworm, or right at the beginning of the band Ringworm, who were like a death metal band. Like their first song music, we're like, yeah, they're pretty good. And by the fourth song, we're like, hey, the first song again. Yeah, it's one of those bands. All their songs sound the same. So, like, they were one of those bands. They're like, it's okay. Like, they're okay for a few good headbangs, but they weren't anything special. But after them, we got an awesome, awesome, awesome band. Have you ever heard of Iron Reagan? I'll take that as a no. Iron Reagan.
No, I've never heard of Iron Reagan.
It's the best band name ever. Like all their shirts have.
It's not as good as Goat Whore, but it's up there.
Like all their shirts have Ronald Reagan on them somehow. But they're the guys. A few of the guys from Municipal Waste, like the singer. They got the same singer and the bassist Landfill is the guitarist in Iron Reagan. And they're kind of like a crossover band. I think you'd really like them. Like if you like DRI and stuff like that, they're pretty awesome. They have a song called "Your Kid's an Asshole."
If they're on Spotify, I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're on there. They have a song called "Your Kid's an Asshole." It is 6 seconds, and it just says "Your Kid's an Asshole" like 4 times. It's great.
Nice.
And they have a shirt that has Ronald Reagan holding up a kid, and that, there's like a big, just like blood stain on the kid's head, and on the back it says "Your Kid's an Asshole." And I'm like, I want to buy that shirt, but I can't wear it anywhere. Literally nowhere. But they were awesome. I was kind of bummed I didn't buy any of their merch, but I only had so much money. They were so cool. They were so much fun. Like, I'm not a big punk guy, and I was just like, this is so awesome. I'm instant fan of them. So after them, Exhumed. They were awesome. I mean, if you know Exhumed, you know what you're getting. And, I mean, they were had just real solid technically. They sounded great. The pit was dead for them, though. That pit was just nothing. There's like 3 kids in it. And I'll tell you, I didn't get into the pit all night. I stood at the edge of the pit, and, I mean, it was not bad. Like, I had to shove a few people back. Though, my buddy Nick is Band Avalon Steel. Their singer Tommy was there. And Tommy noticed this one hipster-looking neck beard that was there. That anytime someone got near him in the pit, he would glare at him. So Tommy decided to jump in the pit and literally ran to that guy every single time. And the neckbeard guy just started kicking him, trying to kick him out of the way. And every time the pit would come back around, he'd run back into the neckbeard until the guy walked away.
Nice.
It's so great.
You bullied somebody in a mosh pit. So how was Napalm Death?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm getting there. Because there's a band before Napalm Death, Voivod. Dude, I wish I would have bought a Voivod shirt. I bought a Napalm Death shirt, but all it was is a black shirt with the logo in white. It's nothing special. But Voivod, holy shit, Voivod were amazing. They're kind of proggy, so they had enough tempo changes, and they were a lot of fun. And Snake, the singer, he was real charismatic and fun, and he sounded great. The band was so good. And, there was a lot of kind of the older metalheads there, because, Voivod, we never see Voivod here in the South, of course, because they're Canadian. Why would they come here? But it was, it was really awesome. The pit was going crazy for them. And actually, before I get to Napalm Death, there's this guy that looked like Christopher Lee there. Like, he was really old and had hair down to his ass and had a bunch of missing teeth. And he went, I think it was during Iron Reagan. There was the mosh pit, and he straight up did like a disco thing. Like, he went like kind of crouching down and just doing his hands in like a rolling motion, and went all the way through the pit doing that. It was the greatest thing, because me and Nick were like, were we the only ones who saw that? Because it was the greatest thing ever. I've never seen someone do something like some Soul Train shit through the mosh pit, and nobody touched him. It was the best. So, Napalm Death, they were great. I really, really enjoyed them. Barney looks like he's 30. I know he's not 30, but that guy does not look like he's been in that band for like 20 years. Like, the guy looks great. He sounds great. He's a really charming guy. Like, he actually listens to the crowd. Like, they played what? Like, they're like, oh, what's the play? And somebody yelled something. He goes, no, we fucked that up at this point. And they played You Suffer, but they played another song that was a second longer, and they did, and everybody, he's like, how's that like that? Everybody's like, You Suffer. He goes, no, that's a different song. He's like, and then when they played You Suffer, he goes, did you see the difference? And I yelled, 1 second. He didn't. He didn't respond, but he was a really cool guy. They had a fill-in guitarist. I think he was from, Broken Hope, maybe. I want to say it was Broken Hope, because their guitarist wasn't touring with them this time, or at least not right at the moment. But he did a really good job of filling in. The band was just brutal as shit. I forgot my earplugs, so like the day after, like I had like half hearing. Like I could hear, but I couldn't hear high frequencies very well. It was really kind of weird. But I was good by Sunday. But it was such a good time. Like one of the best $20 I've spent in my life to get in there. It was
good
just,
for you.
It was a great. Yeah, it was a great show. It was a great time. Then we ate a steak and shake afterwards. Even though my mom was like, I told you to come straight home. I'm like, I was hungry. I just sat and headbanged for like, what was that? Literally from like 6:30 to about 1. So yeah,
okay.
Like that was a long show. So
a
it
couple
was
of things.
Great.
First of all, you fucked up. I agree with your mother. Okay, that's a whole other bit. That's a whole other issue. But hang on, I have a couple of things that we need to discuss before we jump into this album. Number one, you don't go to the Steak and Shake after a show. You go to the Waffle House. See?
No, we went to Waffle House. It was a shitty Waffle House. We sat there for like about 5 or 10 minutes, and there were about 2 or 3 booths open that they hadn't cleaned the entire time. So pretty much everybody was just like, everybody was either cooking or checking on the current customers. Nobody was cleaning, so me and Nick were like, this is taking too fucking long. So we went to Steak and Shake because of course you go to Waffle House after anything awesome.
That's right.
But no, we were just like, fuck this. This place seems kind of, it wasn't exactly the best looking Waffle House, and they were like not exactly the best wait staff either. So we were like, fuck them. We're going somewhere else.
Second of all, you didn't get in the pit not even once. Come on now.
I thought about getting in it for Napalm Death, but the Napalm Death pit was fucking insane. Like the Voivod pit was really crazy, but the Napalm Death pit was like a fucking hurricane. Like, I felt so bad for the security because they kept having to pull people down when they'd crowd surf towards the front. Yeah,
you need to get in that shit, man. Listen, this is the Metal Hammer of Doom, not, Pussy Willows in the Field. Come on now.
No, I mean, to be fair, it's not the Mosh Pit Hammer of Doom. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I really did consider it, like, because I thought I was like, Mark would be proud of me if I did this. But I'm like, I'm here to really enjoy the music. That was what I was there for. I know. What?
Listen to me. Jesse Starcher wants to know if there was a bitch in the pit. Apparently, there was a bitch outside the pit, and it was you. That's what happened.
Yeah. What can I say? I mean, hey, I pushed some guys back. There was a bitch in the pit. She was some punk chick who had a really, really nice ass, and I think she was about 19. But the reason I knew she was punk chick, one, because it was, like the leather jacket with all the spikes, and she had half her head like kind of buzz-cutted. And I will actually say, she was kind of hot, and I'm not into that at all. Like, the piercings and that. I was like, damn, she's pretty hot. But then I noticed she had a boyfriend. And how did I know that she had a boyfriend? Because they had the same haircut. They matched. I was like, okay.
Kind of like old people in jogging suits.
Right, yeah. Yeah, she jumped in the pit like a few times, like probably a good like 15, 20 times or something. Like anytime they get too close, they get closer, she'd shove one guy back and jump in there. I'm like, you're doing what they want. Like there were a few assholes. There's this one fucking hardcore, like fucking douchebag looking kid with a neck tattoo. He kept running into the audience and starting to try mosh pits there, and everybody's like, dude, just go the fuck away. Like he needed his ass whipped. And there's this big bald guy with a giant beard that had his hand wrapped in a shirt that would, like, he'd walk along the edge of the pit and shove people, and he'd stand in the middle of the pit and shove people. Like, that kind of an asshole. But I will say, everybody was cool in the pit, because if somebody fell down, they immediately pulled the guy up. That's cool.
Good.
Nope.
Yes.
No trampling down.
All right. Before we discuss any further, let me give a quick shout-out to Jesse Starcher, who is listening. The nights that we do this show happen to be the nights that I work till 7 o'clock.
Me too.
12-hour days are long. So I come home and I want to do the show because I want to hang out and talk to you and I want to listen to music, but I'm exhausted. So I don't put a lot of effort into promoting the show. But where I fall down, Jesse Starcher. Where I fall down, Jesse Starcher picks it right back up. I had just literally moments before the show started, about 20 minutes, I posted the show and I just scheduled the show on Blog Talk Radio, and that was all I was going to do. I'm like, people can listen to it in the archives. I don't really care if anyone listens to it live. And there's Jesse going, "This shall not stand." And he posted it on Facebook. He posted it on the Radulich and Broadcasting Facebook page. So Jesse Starcher is the hardest working man on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, and he gets a shout out as always. All right. I want to talk about this before we jump into the latest Blind Guardian album. And that is, I have a new favorite thing in terms of discovering new music. There was some long period where, because of my drive to Polk County, which to those of you outside of Florida was the infamous 50-mile one-way drive to work, I tended to not listen to music. I tended to listen to podcasts, and because of that, outside of doing research for the show, I tended to not be in search for new music. But now things have changed, and I'm home every 2 days out of the week. So I was home Monday and Tuesday. I'll be home this weekend, and when I'm home, because I'm a good house husband, and I'm taking care of my son, I also clean up the house whenever he takes a nap. And my favorite thing to do is put on the Apple TV radio. So they have their own basic internet radio feature. Works just the same as Pandora, only you don't get commercials. And it's so that you'll be inspired to buy the tracks as you listen to them if you hear something that you like, which I'm never going to do because Spotify exists. But that's not the point. The point is, while I'm cleaning the house, I'll put on the Apple TV metal radio, and I have discovered a lot of new music this way recently. And I'm probably going to say this to you, and God only knows what you're going to think, but I discovered Avalon and Kubla Khan this way. I'll just be it'll be just background noise, and then suddenly I'll hear the song, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the jam. And, and as I've posted on Facebook recently, I call it, the house cleaning jam of the week.
I think I've heard of both bands. I've never listened to them.
They were quite good. So this week's house cleaning jam of the week was I think it was a Ghost Stories Part 3 from Kubla Khan, and you can check it out on my Facebook page. As soon as I heard it, I Shazammed it. The last time I found something, it was actually Hail the Apocalypse by Avalon, both of which are now on my workout mix. So whenever I go to the Y and lift weights, I have this huge workout playlist that I listen to, which is all heavy, fast heavy metal, a lot of brotastic stuff, You know, because that's what you need when you listen weight. It's a lot of bro-tastic music, like Hatebreed.
Yeah, you gotta get that testosterone pumping.
That's right. I'm trying to convince my wife to buy me $250 tickets for a 2-day festival in Jacksonville so I can see Slipknot and Hatebreed.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
God,
That's
why are
the
there
Sunday.
so much?
Because those aren't the only two bands. It's a 2-day festival. The first night is headlined by like Slayer and Ministry, and there's a bunch of other bands. And the second night there's Slipknot and I know Hatebreed's on there and a bunch of other bands.
It sounds like Carolina Rebellion, where like the first half of day one's a bunch of '80s bands, then a bunch of bro bands and Papa Roach and shit. And the second day is old thrash bands, and then more bro bands. And I was like, I would go for this.
Welcome to Rockville. Welcome to Rockville. Line up. Saturday, April 25th. Okay, this is in Jacksonville, Florida. April 25th. Korn, Marilyn Manson, Slayer, Ministry, Hailstorm, Of Mice and Men, Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, Queensryche, Live, Hollywood Undead, Suicidal Tendencies, Testament, The Devil Wears Prada, Periphery, Fozzy, Nonpoint, Exodus, Upon a Burning Body, Beartooth, Red Sun Rising, and World Gone. And then here's the Sunday night lineup. Slipknot, Godsmack, Slash, Breaking Benjamin, Papa Roach, The Pretty Reckless, In This Moment, Starscream, In Flames, Motionless in White, Tremonti, All That Remains, Hatebreed, Butcher Babies, Vamps, The Young Guns, We Are Harlot, Like a Storm, 68, Islander, From Ashes to New, and Sons of Texas.
God, that Sunday lineup sounds like shit.
Well, you know, I'm going for Hatebreed and for Slipknot.
God, that sounds like the worst. God, that sounds like I want to fucking shoot half the audience there.
All right. Listen. So, way back when I was still living in New York, and Chuck Ninesling used to work at Caroline Records as a buyer. He would always hit me to the newest music and get me promos. And one of the ones he got me was like a single for this band called Blind Guardian. And he was telling me about them. He was like, I think you're going to like this. I like to call it music for D&D nerds, or, you know, music to play D&D to. And he said, whenever we have Blind Guardian playing in the office, I feel like I should jump on my horse and go, "Hyah, to the fax machine." And and that was how I was introduced to Blind Guardian back in the early 2000s. So ever since then, I've become a huge fan of Blind Guardian. I've seen them live. They're a great band. Tobias Sammet, who, let me make sure I've got the right guy here. Hang on. Shit. Back. No. There we go. Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. But Blind Guardian, you know, always came across, you know, much like Tobias Sammet's Avantasia, as sort of a heavy metal opera. And, you know, Blind Guardian really took the concept of progressive music, you know, progressive metal, and they didn't do the Dragon Force thing, which is, you know, sort of speed for speed's sake. They took the music and said, you know, can we turn this into like a real musical? And that's what they were able to accomplish. And so Blind Guardian is probably some of the most powerful music I've ever heard in my life. Just absolutely insane. They've released a new album called on January 30th called Beyond the Red Mirror. It's a sequel to 1995's Imaginations from the Other Side. And it's pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and jump right into this, and we'll get some reactions here from the Cooper. This is, we'll play a little bit of the intro now. This is the Ninth Wave. So I think with Blind Guardian, it's very easy to picture like people singing this on a stage. And you're like, okay, well, it's a band, it's a rock band, duh. No, that's not what I mean. I think it's very easy to sort of picture this being turned into an actual musical. Yeah. They're a very, very like over the top theatrical band. But it works, and they're probably one of the more interesting bands going today. What do you think of this first track, The Ninth Wave?
Well, first I'll mention what I think about Blind Guardian. Since I didn't get them into it, I think about Blind Guardian. Ooh, oh, sin. So I mean, I got interested in them through Demons and Wizards. You know that band, right?
Oh yeah, they do a Boss cover of I said Boss, a Boss cover of Cream's White Room.
Oh, I've not heard that. Yeah, they're pretty awesome because I was really into Ice
All right.
So
Then while you start talking, I'm gonna find it for you.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm really into Iced Earth, and I went to find what else John Schaefer did, and I was like, oh, okay, Demons and Wizards. And this guy in community college is like, yeah, man, Hansi's the singer from Blind Guardian, they're awesome. So I'm like, okay. So I listened to a few songs, I liked them, and then I was reading Dan Haggerty's Mosh Pit column, a very common occurrence for me, and he was talking about his favorite concept album of all time was Nightfall in Middle Earth by Blind Guardian. So I'm like, shit, I got to listen to this. And I was fucking blown away. Like, seriously, that album is perfection, especially if you've never read Lord of the Rings. Actually, it's even better if you've read Lord of the Rings because it's actually the Silmarillion. That's right. They made the Silmarillion interesting, which is hard to do. Neither of my parents ever finished the Silmarillion. But, well, Lord of the Rings couldn't do the Silmarillion. So, I mean, yeah, that was awesome, and I bought a few of their albums since, and I really enjoy them. They're just very interesting, and while they're not my favorite car driving music, because it's unless it's like Nightfall in Middle Earth, I can listen to that album over and over. But a lot of their stuff, it's like because they have those very long operatic passages. When I'm driving, oftentimes I want to kind of headbang. You know how it is. But, you know, there's times I'm like, I want to listen to fucking Blind Guardian, and I throw them on, and they're on my fucking CD player in my car for a week. They're just so good. But after this first song, it started, and I was like, okay, this is kind of what I expected. And it kept going and going and going, but it didn't feel like it kept going. You know, like it didn't feel like a 9-minute song. It was really impressive. Like, it's a great song. See, I wish I'd have sat down and did lyrical analysis, because unfortunately, unlike with Napalm Death, where I can skim the lyrics while you're playing the song, this is like reading a fucking novel. Like, there are so many, like, really, like, because I was reading along with the lyrics while I was listening to the first half of the album, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this goes on forever, just in terms of, like, lyrical content. And it doesn't really repeat all that much. It's like telling a story. Who'd have thought?
Well,
yeah,
let's talk about that for a second. Beyond the Red Mirror, as I said before, is a concept album and a sequel to Imaginations from the Other Side. It's a story between, as Hansi Kürsch has said, it's a story between science fiction and fantasy. The two worlds described have changed dramatically for the worse since then. Well, there used to be several passages between the worlds. There's only one gate left now, the Red Mirror, and it has to be found at any cost. They actually, in that respect, kind of remind me of Clutch, you know, because that's kind of a Clutch thing where they're not just kind of putting together songs. They're Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails did a similar thing with one of his albums, the Downward Spiral, where every song's sort of a chapter in a large story. So this one, Beyond the Red Mirror, is actually broken up into several chapters. The first two songs are part of the first chapter, the cleansing of the Promised Land, and then it kind of goes on from there. Real quick, just because I apparently have ADD, and as soon as you said that you hadn't heard their cover, Demons and Wizards cover of White Room, I said, oh, you've got to hear this. So instead of doing like a normal thing and playing the next song, Twilight of the Gods, which was their first single, we're going to hear Demons and Wizards White Room instead.
With black curtains near the station.
And it just goes on like that.
That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
I could dig that.
All right. Before the album came out on January 30th, they released one single from Beyond the Red Mirror. That was December 5th, 2014, and it's the fucking jam. This is the hot note. This is Twilight of the Gods. What I like about Blind Guardian, this is a really good example of it, is they don't get too lost in their own sort of bullshit. You know, they're still making heavy, rockin', good music. I mean, I listen to Twilight of the Gods, and all I can imagine is, you know, 4 Nordic gods standing on stage, jamming out with their instruments and hair going every which way.
Yeah, like they never kind of forgot their earlier stuff as speed metal, and I like that. I mean, there's some albums where you don't really find much of it, but there's still traces and elements of it in almost every one of their albums, and it's nice. It's nice to see a band not turn their backs on something that they can still do well and integrate really well into what they do already.
Yeah, Blind Guardian really know where their bread's buttered, and they don't lose sight of that, which is a great thing. While still making interesting music. You know, we talked about with the downside to reviewing a Napalm Death album is after a while it all starts to sound like a Napalm Death album. Whereas Blind Guardian, they're willing to take some interesting twists and turns with their music. Let's go on to track 3 here. This is Prophecies.
I can see a crow on your judgment day. It's like a servant. Please come over, don't come over, please come over. Welcome the last day of our lives. What a tearing down. And it would break the silence, but there is no return. No return. We will bring you back to a moment in time. We will reveal and
Your thoughts?
It's again just another different song. It had a different opening, and it still sounded unique from the other songs. I mean, shit, we are almost 15 minutes of music into this album, and nothing's really sounded the same. Like, yeah, there's a few flashes that I'm like, okay, that sounded kind of like earlier, but it's the same in a way that it's like cohesive. Like, you know, that you can tell it's telling the same story, but it's a really just unique song. It's nice. It's great. And Jesus, so many words. It's like a book. I'm telling you, it's like a book.
Read a book. Yep. This goes back to what I was saying about bands who really are able to take just about anything out of our culture and turn it into an album. You know, they are unsung heroes and geniuses of the music world, and it's a shame because, you know, metal is such an extreme genre of music, in the sense that it's not palatable to a lot of the mainstream. So, you know, people, you know, they don't like metal, so they'll never know how good this band is. And that's a shame because I think they transcend metal in that sense. I mean, these guys are, they're not just playing three chords, you know what I mean? They truly are masters of their craft. Let's go ahead and I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that after this next song. This is At the Edge of Time. Starcher's favorite song, At the Edge of Time. What are your thoughts?
I really enjoy this song. I like the way he describes it, actually, that it's like it escalates. You know, I know you talked about a musical earlier. This song feels like it should be in a musical. Like, you know, in like a musical, oftentimes, like a song starts kind of low key and then starts building and building and building until it's some grand, like, huge celebration. You know, like
yes,
think,
Javert.
You know, like
Javert
like I can't
from,
wait to be.
No, I was thinking Les Miserables.
See, I was thinking I can't wait to be king from The Lion King.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Oh, come on. You don't love The Lion King?
I like The Lion King just fine. Have you ever heard the Confused Matthew review of The Lion King?
No. I should.
Yes, you should. You should absolutely. First of all, you should see any honest trailer, but you should absolutely. You should absolutely check out the online version of that because it's been changed. It's been changed recently, but anyway. All right. Before I pass out, let's go ahead and listen to another track here. This is track 5, Ashes of Eternity. Were a musical, that totally would be the song that would play right before intermission.
Yeah, because it was like heavy as shit, and it had a few like folkier elements to it. Like
but
in
not only
terms
that,
of instrumentation.
Yeah, but it also like it starts off as like the one singular voice, and then like the whole chorus comes out. You know, like I feel like it would be the one number where they'd get out the entire cast and fill up the stage with voices, and then they'd end real big, and then the lights would come on and you're like, okay, everyone hit the bathrooms.
All right, shit and break everybody, or as we like to call that, the Divas match on Raw.
I don't want to talk about it. There's only one wrestling program out there right now, and it's called NXT.
Oh, well, and there's New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access TV.
Never heard of it.
Remember New Japan? Yeah, that thing that you're like last time. You're like, yeah, I might give that a shot. It's on Friday nights, right?
I think the last Friday night that I was actually home watching TV, I decided to do like my own little movie mini marathon, and I watched Justice League War and then Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
I don't think I've seen either of those. I need to. Yeah, you should watch New Japan. It's pretty damn good. I
think the next time I think the next time I'm home on a Friday night, which will be tomorrow night, I'm probably going to watch Nightcrawlers and/or Birdman.
Ooh, Nightcrawler's really good, and Birdman just got to the 250 Theater down the road here, so I'm definitely going to see that.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll be watching the New Japan. Yeah, I'll just stick with the NXT.
You can DVR it. Or I could send you links to it on the internet for you to watch it.
So not only was I doing Finn Balor's entrance all over the house last night and all up in my wife's grill, but during the tag team match, I was dropping elbows on Jonas while changing his diaper.
Were you botching the whole time just like they were?
No. I just I put him on his back to change his diaper, and I thought, he likes when I play with him. He's definitely a roughhouse kind of boy. Even at 10 months. Yep, my little boo-boo is going to be 10 months in just a few hours. He was born on the 13th, so Friday the 13th, not when he was born, but tomorrow is Friday the 13th, depending on when you're listening to this. Could be today. And he was born on the 13th of April, so he's 10 months old, and he's definitely a rough and tumble kind of kid. He likes it raw. Baby, I like it raw. Anyway, so he likes it raw. So he likes it when I throw him up in the air, or we play wrestle, stuff like that. He likes it. So I was dropping elbows on him while I was changing his diaper, and he just thought that was the funniest thing.
Nice. I do that
with my daughter too. I give her the clothesline from hell a lot. When it's time for her to go to bed, and she'll be up. She's really hyper. She'll be jumping on her bed, jumping up and down. And I'll just give her a clothesline from hell, and she's like, "Oh, all right then, time for me to go to bed."
Nice.
That's metal right there.
That is metal. You should powerbomb her someday.
I have.
There you go.
Right on the couch. All right. Next time I'm gonna do it Kevin Owens style and just have it so only her head hits the couch.
Oof. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the title change hands by KO.
It's a rare finish, but I've seen it before. And speaking of rare finishes, this is track 6, The Holy Grail.
Together change the world forever. Water, shift, on sound.
Act 2 picks up with The Holy Grail, an excellent song. AllMusic scored this album 4 stars out of 5, and Blabbermouth.net gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Nice. 4 out of 5 is kind of low.
Really?
No, I mean, it's not, like, super low. I'm just kind of comparing it to, like, I would definitely give it 4.5.
You think it's
so, like,
so far?
They're kind of underselling.
Can we absolutely say that so far this has been the best album of the year?
Oh yeah. I'm really loving it. It's really good up to this point. It still gets even better. Imagine that.
Have you ever heard their cover of Mr. Sandman? Or Dream a Little Dream?
Yeah, actually, I did like a weird top 5 list or something for 4-in-1 that had Mr. Sandman on it. With like weird covers.
Okay. They also do Barbara Ann. Barbara Ann.
Yeah, I've heard that one. That's like the weirdest covers. Bunch of German weirdos.
Sure. So yeah, by the way, I was thinking of Tobias Sammet from Ed Guy earlier when I was thinking of Avantasia, which is the actual metal opera as it's known. Really good stuff there. But Blind Guardian also manages to accomplish a very similar feel with their music. All right, so we're going to move on here to track 7. This is The Throne. Okay, so more of your thoughts, sir.
This was another one that was really just epic songs. I know epic is a very broad and overused term. God, it is such an overused term. But, I mean, this song here, wow. I mean, it's 8 minutes long. It doesn't feel like that at all. It just, I mean, it's just so fucking amazing. It's like a lot of this album, it feels like you said, like a musical. Like, I feel like I'm listening to something really interesting and special, and I'm just blown away by it, really.
Yep. So I'm distracted by our next, what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks. We're going to be listening to the new Ensferum album, and they have a bonus track, Rawhide, and I'm now I need to know. I can't take it. I need to know if it's like the cover of Rawhide or if it's a new song.
I mean, that's a dish.
And I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I can't find, like, any kind of credits to let me know what it is exactly. So we'll talk about that in a little while, though. We're going to keep right on rocking here with Beyond the Red Mirror. The story continues. We are up to Chapter 7, The Fallen and Chosen One, which is actually in our list, Track 8. This is Sacred Mind.
Xanadu, the movie. I remember that movie. Ish.
I've never seen it.
It's funny. I mean, it's
okay.
shitty.
Well, I am fading fast here.
They did cover the theme to Rawhide.
Okay, where did you find this?
The MetalSucks.net review of the album.
Oh, you don't have audio?
No, but they did.
Metal Sucks SUX or Metal Sucks CKS?
CKS, like suck blow, yeah. MetalSucks.net. It says the whole thing ends with the cover of the Rawhide theme. Shit, you're not.
Let's see here. I can't seem to find this now, but and I'm sure people really don't want to hear me, check. People don't want to hear me usurping the net. So I'll have to look for that when I have a chance. But yes, so when it comes out on, I believe, February 23rd, Spotify, for people who run that website, you need to make sure the cover of Rawhide is available. See, I can't accept any less than that.
I agree, even though I've never seen or heard of Rawhide.
Dun, 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 Rawhide. Pick him up, hit him out. Dun, 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 Rawhide.
Nope. I don't really care for Westerns.
Aw, right. Someone else did one. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Emoji's cover of Bonanza. Have you ever heard it?
No.
You've never heard Bonanza? All right, let me see.
God, all right, I've never watched Bonanza either.
All right, well, we're going to hear Miracle Machine. Meanwhile, so that gives me enough time to get you the Bonanza.
When they are coming, give us guidance, for they are calling to erase the dam. Yet,
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
To erase the dam, they will return. Now let me take you to the other side. Turn off the light and let it grow. They will set it on fire. They come to fool us all. They are slaves to the fire, you know. Their fire must grow. They have to feed it. We must believe in something that I would call a miracle. The gray will break the final seal. We must believe in something, a miracle machine. We just hide it secretly. No belief, no belief. Give us what we need. Betrayed by the night, I've learned to love the shadow. And now they're come. That's why I need you on the other side. And then we may carry another light. I summon from the inside, deeper inside. They don't belong here, though they claim their right. Let it grow. Turn off the light, let reason grow. They will set it on fire. They come to fool us all. They are slaves to the fire, you know. The fire must grow. They have to feed it. We must believe in something that I would call a miracle. The gray will break the final seal. We must believe in something, a miracle, a miracle.
I'll teach you to trespass on my land.
I didn't know it was your
You
right, mister.
side-winding rattlesnake son of a bitch. Sons of bitches.
Okay.
You seem a little dumbfounded.
I never watched Bonanza. I knew it was on TV all the time when I was a kid, and probably is still on TV, but I could not care less about Bonanza.
I like MOD's cover of it.
Oh yeah, I mean it was low. I mean I love when bands do like troll covers. Like it makes my day. Because I like you know, Arsis doing Corey Hard's Sunglasses at Night, you know, stuff like that. I just never got into westerns. Now Easterns, I can watch Easterns all day. Yeah, samurai movies, love them.
Sure. Well, I have, as we know, you've heard me mention it once or twice. I've got kids, and I like to put them on my knee and give them horsey rides. And I give them horsey rides to MOD's Bonanza.
You should give them horsey rides. You should give them horsey rides to nuclear assault hang the Pope.
They're just children, Robert Cooper. All right, before I literally pass out nose first into the keyboard, here's our last track of the night. This is Blind Guardian Grand Parade. Here it is, the final conclusion. So I have a question for you. I think we can both agree that this album is a 9.5 out of 10. It's an 8. You know, it's definitely a solid A. I'll let you kind of give the last 50 words or less on this, but I have a more important question to ask you before we end the show tonight. What do you think of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh, dude, I am so fucking psyched. Like, both my parents were like, so? It doesn't fucking matter. But me, I'm like, dude, Spider-Man, come on. Like, he's always one of the more interesting parts of any team-up because he's so different from a lot of the other characters. Like, a lot of these people are gods or duty-bound or feel guilty about, I don't know, being they should be saving people. And Peter Parker, yeah, he's a little guilty, but really he's just a guy. And it's really cool just to see a guy, some smart-ass guy, in everybody's superhero pudding. Love it. I am over the moon.
Well, there's talk about still wanting to do a Sinister Six movie and a Venom movie. And if I were Sony and Marvel, here's how I would do it. I would actually do, because now there's going to be a new Spider-Man movie with someone new playing Spider-Man. Presumably it's going to be Peter Parker, not Miles Morales. I think they might be saving that for something else. But I think what they should do is just have a new Spider-Man somewhat continuing off of, maybe do like a soft reboot of the series, but have him fight the Sinister Six. Have him fight the Sinister Six, have Venom in the story, but have that version as Eddie Brock, and by the end of it, have the suit kind of given to S.H.I.E.L.D. and introduce, a Flash Thompson that can eventually take the Venom suit. And then when you do the Sinister Six movie, make it like the Thunderbolts. Make it, or the Suicide Squad, where basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. needs a Black Ops team to go and do whatever, but they want criminals instead of heroes because it's a dirty job. And so it's like, these are all guys that Spider-Man took down in his Spider-Man movie that comes out in 2017. So let because otherwise I don't understand how they're going to do a movie based on all villains. if they're not going to make them like a Suicide Squad type of team.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I misheard you and thought you said like a Thunderbirds team, and I'm like, we're going to make them puppets and throw them in planes?
They're going to be the Silverhawks.
Yes. And then they could be like the SWAT cats. Yay, the Radical Squadrons. But yeah, I can see that. I really hope the next Spider-Man movie isn't a damn origin story, because we fucking know Peter Parker.
From what I understand, it's going to be like a soft reboot where they're going to continue with that universe and sort of meld it into the Marvel universe, but they're not going to continue with Andrew Garfield. Like I said, have him just fight the Sinister Six, have Eddie Brock as Venom, have him defeat Eddie Brock, and then have the suit be given to S.H.I.E.L.D. so that when you do a solo Venom movie, you do it with Flash Thompson, which would make a little bit more sense. In the comic book, actually, Flash Thompson as Venom is actually in the Thunderbolts.
Oh, cool.
For as long as that team lasted.
Oh, hey, maybe they'll just do what they've been doing with all the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. Put it on TV.
I think Jesse Starcher sums it all up very nicely. Oh, dude, if they reboot Spider-Man again, just fucking punch me in the nuts.
Okay, I'll fly up there and do so.
Like I said, I don't think they're going to do an origin story. Like I said, I think they're just going to continue to have him do so. And like I said, I don't know what the story is going to be. I'm just spitballing here. But if Sony is looking to do a Sinister Six, they have to use them in the next movie. They can't just do a movie out of the clear blue sky without having brought them out in something else. So I'm going to throw that out there. All right. Any final words on Beyond the Red Mirror? I'm going to let you do the last 50 words, and then I'm going to do plugs. And then, for God's sakes, I'm going to bed.
Miracle Machine is one of my favorite songs off this album. It's so pretty and wonderful, and I could listen to it over and over and over again and sing it in my car. Love it so much. And then the finale, the last song. What's the name of the last song? I forget the name of the last song. Oh, yeah, Grand Parade. That's a great name for a last song. It's just, it's such an epic kind of closing to this sequel to a concept album that's a concept album. Who'd have thunk it? Concept albumception, ooh. Nah, that'd be if we had a concept album and a concept album. Fun. It's just such a rewarding listen. It's one of those, if you just keep listening to it over and over, it's like a good movie. You'll keep finding new things to love about it while still remembering the things that you loved about it before. It's just, I love it. Such a good movie. Such a good album. Definitely give it a listen. It's definitely a good, like a good 9 out of 10. I just love it so much. Okay.
In 2 weeks, like I said, we're going to be reviewing the new folk metal album from Ensperum, One Man Army. 2 weeks after that, I believe, if I remember correctly, is the new Prong Covers album. See if I'm right about that. Have you figured out what we're doing in March yet?
Oh, no, I haven't even thought about it. I'll get to it, don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
I'll look at our calendar. I'll look at the calendar and be like, okay, we'll do it live. Fuck it.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
We'll do it live.
Okay, I got the calendar right now.
Do it live.
Okay, so in 2 weeks, Ensperum, One Man Army, and then Robert has to pick 2 albums for the month of March, because in April, we'll be doing Nightwish, the new Nightwish album, and maybe we'll get like 1 million listeners again, and the new Prong Covers album. So look for that. Robert, what do you got coming up in your world?
Well, let's see. Radulich Broadcasting Network in general is a nice place. I like it. There's from Cheap Seats, Jesse Starcher, Jason Teasley. Love those guys. They talk sports. Like it. It's fun. There's this podcast, pretty good podcast, and the Sentai Frentai Hentai Happy Go Fun Time Japanese podcast, or as I like to call it, Sentai Writer podcast. We planned on recording last week, and I didn't catch up on what I was supposed to catch up on, so we didn't record last week. So hopefully we'll record this week, and have you new things like sometime next week or the week after. New episodes of Power Rangers Dino Charge. It's a really good show. Go watch it. Oh, it's Judd Lynn doing Power Rangers again. The man can do no wrong with Power Rangers. Really love it. And Kamen Rider Drive. Going to catch up on that. So there's that. The Cooperative Multiplayer Podcast every Saturday night, midnight, which, Saturday going in Sunday. Sean Garmer, myself, and Mark Morrison of 411mania.com. Both of them are. It's fun time if you ever want to hear me ramble for an hour and a half about video games, so half the time it's not about video games. There you go. I mean, hey, it's a really fun podcast. It's on Spreaker.com on the I think the co-op multi-page. I'm thinking so. But yeah, it's if you ever want to hear me not talk about video games and not for like the next 30 minutes, it's great.
All right. Well, Monday night, I will be taking my family to Monday Night Raw in Orlando. I got my son a little onesie that says "Eat, Sleep, Poop, Repeat." So, and if they're selling a Kevin Owens KO T-shirt, I may have to pick one up. Otherwise, I'll probably be wearing my Big Boss Man T-shirt. Besides that, a week from tonight, back on our regularly scheduled time, Sean Comer and I will be on a long road to ruin, and we'll be tackling another Marvel franchise, Blade, starring Wesley Sniper. Oof, I gotta go to bed.
Wesley Sniper. Wow. The only thing he snipes are the tax collectors.
Yes, Wesley Snipes. So so we'll be doing Blade, and then 2 weeks after that, I believe, is The Crow. Let me make sure I'm right about that. Yes. Actually, I'm off by a week. This Thursday, coming up, a week from today, is Rocky 5 and 6, and then Blade, and then The Crow. Oof. So check out all those. For those of you looking to hear me on the WrestleCast, I am taking a short break from doing that. They recorded tonight, so there should be a show up soon with Pat Mullen, Jed, and Gavin. I elected not to participate, and I don't think I'll be recording with them. I'm not going to make any disparaging remarks about those fellows. I just suffice it to say,
I like this.
Suffice it to say, I've had my fill of those folks for a little while, and I need a break. As I told Gavin, it's not you, it's me. I just need some space. So I'll be taking a break. Yeah, I'll be taking a break from the Casual Heroes for a little while. We'll see what happens around WrestleMania time, but I needed to not be recording with those guys for a little bit. In the meantime, we'll still be doing my two shows, Metal Hammer of Doom with Robert Cooper here, and the Long Road to Ruin with Sean Comer. And that's our plan for the next couple of weeks. So,
and the Whiskey Rebellion died yet again.
It's we're just trying to figure. The problem is, and Gavin actually brought this up. He was like, "Well, we need to find a day that we can record." I'm like, "Well, it had been Tuesdays, but we keep switching the day that we're going to record. There's no set day that we record the WrestleCast, so it's hard to come up with a schedule. Like they're recording tonight, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to not do this show. This show's day is Thursday, and if we don't do the show when we're supposed to, then I'm not going to participate. So even if I wasn't needing to take a break from those guys, I still wouldn't have participated. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening tonight. Fun show as always. I'm trying to keep the show to 90 minutes flat so that I don't pass out in the middle of it like we did with Typhoon Negative, or I don't start spouting gibberish.
That was funny. There was once I was recording the Wrestling to the Max podcast with Sean Garmer, and I fell asleep. And they were like, Sean asked later, like, what happened? Like, all you heard from my computer was smack, because I fell asleep like trying to like with my hands at the keyboard, and I ended up when my head went down, my hand slapped the keyboard as hard as it could.
Yeah, I've passed out on one or two of these. I don't want to keep doing that. So for Robert Cooper, this is the Metal Hammer of Doom, and I am your host, the mandated reporter, Mr. Mark Radulich. Until next time, be well, be safe, and behave.